Welcome back to 11 of the last 20. Next on our countdown is a 4-year starter for the Cocalico Eagles whose toughness and speed gave opposing coaches nightmares. Check him out.
Number 7, Cocalico's Spencer Moser, Eagles' 4th all-time leading rusher, 50 career touchdowns.
Incredible athlete.
Moser, oh, what a beautiful spin move.
4-year starter at Cocalico, and let's face it, when you come in as a freshman and you're playing varsity football, you're something special, and you know, somebody that your offense is going to be built around.
He's got a first down. He's got the sideline. Spencer Moser. Touchdown, Eagles.
I like Spencer Moser. He was not very big, but boy, was he tough. You think run offenses, Cocalico's as good as anybody, and he was a typical Cocalico wingback.
Here is Moser. Touchdown, Eagles. He's quick. His feet are so quick, and he hit that hole. There was nobody in front of him.
The key to Spencer, besides his quickness and his speed, he had what we called zuzus.
Give us Moser. Moser, he zigzags his way, and he gets it down to the 10-yard line.
He had the moves. He gets on the perimeter with the ball, even if they've played it right and they had him contained. He'll make a move, and then he will accelerate through a gap, and he's gone. He was just so much fun to watch at slot.
Just a tough kid. We brought him up as a freshman. He ended up starting at quarterback for us. He wanted to be a running back. He always was, and just did a lot of good things with the ball in his hand. Changed directions, read holes pretty well, and you know, he was pretty physical for a little guy too. He was only 160, 165 pounds, but you know, just a tough kid as well.
He gives you everything, and if you had, you know, 22 of Spencer Mosers on your team, you could coach forever.
I'll never forget Spencer's determination and his heart, because he wasn't the biggest kid, but he was always powerful. And I remember him being a muscular, lean kind of a guy, and he could take hits and deal hits. But I remember him taking some damage and getting popped, but he always got right back up, took the ball again, and had great wheels and could beat you with his speed on the edge.
He played with a little bit of a swagger, which, you know, Cocalico kids are hard-nosed kids. He just had a little bit more. Just a tough kid, tough competitor. He was a real player for Cocalico.
Moser leans in, touchdown.
Number 6, Manheim Central's Mark Royer, Barron's single-season rushing leader, over 3,000 career yards.
Mark Royer, speed demon.
He could go inside or outside. He was strong enough to go inside, fast enough to run outside.
I remember him just being one of those guys that could pull away from the defense and score on long touchdown runs. You know, he was in the backfield with Ian Hanselman, and he just, you know, together, those two just gave the Barons a great 1-2 punch.
In his senior year, he had over 2,200 yards rushing, and that was a lot considering the fact that he actually split time with Ian Hanselman, who was another running back who had 1,400 yards rushing. So we had a nice 1-2 punch with those two kids. But Mark was a kid that had the speed, he had the power. He didn't quite have the size, but he packed a punch when he did hit you.
Average 9 or 10 yards a carry, breakaway threat every time. He was that kid in Central's offense that you had to be wary of no matter where he was. Play action passes, screens, but especially like in the pitch game when Central, you know, did its midline veer pitch game stuff. And I remember Royer just being that ultimate edge kid, and he had wheels, and he was one of those kids who had another gear, and you think he's just kind of gliding along, and then boom, he just kind of gets this burst, and the next thing you know, he's 15 yards down field behind you, touchdown. But the ultimate speed kid, his couple of years there at Central, I just always remember him just being that edge kid and just being able to just flat out outrun you.
He was a Cocalico killer. He had some big plays against us in some playoff games and regular season games. And Mark was a scorer. Mark, you know, did very well with the ball in his hands.
2,200-yard running back, tough, physical, hard-nosed kid, and really excelled.
Number 5, Warwick's Darren Thompson, averaged 200 yards per game as a senior, future Penn State Nittany Lion.
Season I won't forget.
Darren Thompson picks up his 15th rushing touchdown of the season as we watch it again.
You know, even if you're not somebody that enjoys the running game, you like a passing game, You have to sit back and just really admire what Darren Thompson did that year.
Darren Thompson, one of the single most memorable seasons I ever covered.
The thing you got to remember about him is he had like 2 carries his junior year before getting hurt and missing an entire junior season. We thought we knew what we had in him coming into that year, and the what ifs of the world, again, just the way it is. But you look at his senior season.
First play from scrimmage, the handoff to Darren Thompson, to the outside, to the inside. He takes it all the way. It must be Cedar Crest really didn't get the memo on this guy.
Over 2,000 yards. We had an offense. We lost 2 quarterbacks. Everybody on the field knew who was getting the ball, and he still averaged close to 7 yards a carry. He had the best vision of any running back I've ever coached here.
Watch this run. Look at that. Look at him spin. Oh, man, this is outstanding.
Second kid in LL history to rush for 2,000 yards in 10 games. He was a 200-yard machine.
Chased by Burkholder, stays on his feet. Touchdown, Warwick.
You are kidding me.
They weren't trying to trick you. Here comes Darren. Good luck. And he just had a season for the 8. He was amazing. He was amazing. He tore up everybody's defense.
He's into the open. With a move to the outside, Darren Thompson in for the touchdown. And that is number 5 for Darren Thompson tonight.
I couldn't imagine the defensive coordinators that year trying to game plan for Darren Thompson all week. He was impossible to stop.
Thompson has such great vision. That's the key to good tailbacks.
Faster than people gave him credit for. Very durable. You look at the number of carries he had that season, and it takes a lot of toughness to do the things he did and be as successful as he was, and then walked in at Penn State and contributed. So he was a fine young man, excellent football player.
Well, one of my thrills was getting to see him play at Yankee Stadium in the Pinstripe Bowl in his 4th year at Penn State and playing special teams there.
Sam Ficken down the middle, and Penn State wins it in overtime.
So that was fun to be able to go up to see him do that.
Magical, unforgettable season. 200-yard machine, touchdown machine. When you talk LL football annals and history, Darren Thompson's name as a 2,000-yard rusher will always be there. Good for him.
Number 4, Cocalico's Kyle Fisher, Eagles' 5th all-time leading rusher, averaged more than 10 yards per carry.
Cocalico's Kyle Fisher has been unstoppable this season. His 14 touchdowns are tops in Section 2, and his opposing coaches scratching their heads. When you can't stop him, only hope to contain him.
Fast. Extremely fast.
There goes Kyle Fisher off to the end zone for a touchdown. 56 yards.
The ultimate speed burner, probably the fastest kid on this list that we're talking about here.
The first thing that comes to my mind is speed.
Watching him get into the open field was like you put the film on fast forward.
Fisher again in motion. Here's the pitch to Fisher. Oh, that's the play. And that's 80%.
And everybody else was standing still. I mean, he was unbelievably fast.
The way he could accelerate and go north and south, he was as fast as any kid that I've ever seen play, coach. He just, when he got the ball and he could make a line, he usually made that line pretty fast.
You know, for a defensive coordinator, it had to be just a nightmare knowing, okay, how are we going to not stop Fisher, but just try and contain him.
His speed was elite. But once he got into the alley, he was gone. When you have that kind of speed plus the vision.
When you look at what he did when he did touch the ball, unbelievable.
If you didn't get him on your first tackle, forget it. He was kind of the ultimate weapon kid. No matter where you lined him up, put him in motion, run a jet, run a pitch play.
Got it!
Oh, that's beautiful! That is beautiful play action! So it's not the tight end, but it's Kyle Fisher.
Kyle Fisher.
Kyle Fisher, I will never forget him as one of the fastest kids that I ever covered. And he beat you with flat-out speed.
It was always exciting when the ball was in Kyle's hands.
We've cracked the top 5 in our countdown, but coming up next, we unveil who made the top 3 and who's walking away as our #1 running back of the last 20 years.